I said, well, why? He said, well, he's the only one with a license. I promised Mary I wasn't going to tell a lot of stories today. I got one more. Do you want to hear one more story?
Yeah.
Right when we were putting this together, one of the guys that was, we had a lot of guys come through to try out to be in the band and see how the band was going to work. Greg Allman, to this day, is a good friend of mine, and he came over and for a month probably. He played, and Richie thought he would be like the Stephen Stills in Poco. He had that voice, and Richie, and it was really pretty cool. But his destiny was not to be in Poco. That was pretty obvious. But I kept telling Richie about Buck Owens. You guys know Buck Owens.
Oh yeah.
I was a huge Buck Owens. I am a huge Buck Owens fan, and growing up, I used to see him every time he came to Denver. And I thought he was like the original country rock guy because he played really loud, really way louder than any country act. And the Beatles recorded his songs, the songs that they did. So, but Richie hadn't heard Buck Owens. He'd heard records, I'm going to put you in the. He'd heard that, but he'd never seen him live. And it turns out that Buck was playing at Disneyland out there where we were living. And Graham Parsons was hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He had that effect on girls. I think I understand. And so Graham says, and we were sitting around afternoons playing. We didn't have a drummer at the time. And Randy hadn't come in on bass yet either. But we'd sit around and play, and Graham says, well, hey, I know Buck, and why don't we go? We'll go together, and I'll introduce you guys. And that was just great. So we all go to, we all get in our cars, and we go over there on a certain day. And Richie and I went together and with our wives, and we went in, and then there's this big ruckus at the gates. And we wondered what it was, so we went down to look, and it was Graham. They didn't want to let Graham into Disneyland because Graham was wearing a dress. And this is 1968. It was a nice dress. It was really long, and it was like that white, cream color. And he wore sandals, and he always wore that neck thing. He had a neck thing that he always wore, and he might have had a flower. I'm not sure. And the sandals were very tasteful. So. They let him in, and we went down and we watched the show, and the show was awesome. Buck was always really, really great. And we went backstage after, and there were a bunch of people back there. Dolly Parton was back there. You don't forget when Dolly and Cash was back there, Johnny Cash. And yeah, it was very cool. And of course, it's like, testosterone heaven back there. The Buckaroos and Johnny Cash and all this kind of stuff. And, or is it testosterone?
No, you're okay.
Testosterone. No, the other one's it's one of those things. So, anyway, of course, Graham goes back there, and all these guys are getting on. They're going, Graham, what are you doing? Well, he had just come back from Europe, and he was buddies with Keith Richards, and at the time, David Bowie was hanging out. And so, of course, David Bowie apparently loves to wear dresses. And so, I like David. Graham explains, this is the biggest thing, in Europe. All the guys are wearing this outfit. And next year, when I come to see you, Buckaroo dudes, you're all going to be wearing... And, of course, the guys, they're all going, God, Graham. And Cash looks over at him and says, well, do they make it in black? So anyway, then right after that, we recorded this song. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to get the country music we're singing. So let's begin. Bringing you back down until the folks are happy. Super and green. You and me pick up the pieces of somebody else.
There's just a little magic in the country music we're singing. So let's begin. Bringing you back down hometown. Folks are happy, sitting picking and agreeing. Gradually, you and me will pick up the pieces. Just a little bit of magic in the country music we're singing. So let's begin. Bringing you back down where the folks are happy, sitting thinking and agreeing. Gradually, you and me will pick up the pieces.
Springfield, you know, they're touring and doing their thing and all that kind of stuff. So Bruce has got an apartment. He's in his apartment rolling joints. He's got a big pile of pot on his coffee table, and he's rolling them up, and the neighbors are making a lot of noise. So Bruce decides, he gets irritated, and Bruce decides he's going to call the cops. So he does. He calls the cops. The cops come over. Of course, they knock on his door. He opens the door. Smoke billows out. They see piles of pot on his coffee table. They, of course, arrest him and then deport him back to Canada. That's how Messina got his gig.
Oh, wow.
It's the truth. These are all, they're 99% true. I make up a little. I just got through playing with Jimmy out in California. It was a lot of fun. This is a really cool Jimmy song that we recorded. We actually, you know, there have been these milestones, or whatever you call them, high points in my career, my life. This is one of them. We played this on American Bandstand with Dick Clark. Radio record.
37.
But that was all rigged, because I'm sure they couldn't dance to this, because no one could dance to this song. But it's a really cool Jimmy Messina song. So I'm going to see if I can can get through it. So pray for me, please. Oh, you better think twice about leaving me behind. Make up your mind about what you're going to do. You know it ain't easy when your love has landed. Oh, how you please when you hear me call your name breathlessly. I wait the moment to surround you, but do not fear the song that makes you sing, 'cause it'll offer you wings to fly away, but do not expect to land if you can't stay. You better think twice